Hi, everybody. This is Nick. I'm with my friend from Ukraine, Maria. And
Hi, everybody.
Hey, Maria.
Hi.
So we've been in contact since the start of the war. And the last time we spoke, we had kind of an interesting conversation. You had been living in the basement and you had just come up to take like a shower and get some, fresh food. And then something happened in the middle of our conversation. What happened?
I was drinking tea, as you remember. That was the time I was a bit relaxed, and that was the time it was quiet for several hours. And suddenly I heard a big explosion sound near me. It was very close, and it was unexpected for me. So. As you remember, we were talking about something funny and I was smiling, so I didn't expect to hear it suddenly. So I said you goodbye and I ran away to my, to the basement, to the shelter. And then I heard it again. So it was somewhere close and I don't know what was it. I think it was some, I don't know, maybe kind of a bomb, but I haven't seen it. I just heard this sound. When I was, so during the first 3 or 4 days, I was in Kharkiv, and every day we heard different sounds, so like permanently, but it was far away, and this was the first time I heard it very close.
Yeah, and I actually, that was one of the most like heartbreaking moments of my adult life, was because like you're my friend and you're sitting there like just talking, like finally getting to enjoy yourself. And I actually heard the explosion and it sounded like it was across the street. Like it was extremely loud and it just sounded scary, right? And then you see the fear in your face and just like, I have to go. And you like very intelligently like put the phone down and ran straight to the basement, which is what everybody should do, right? But yeah, it was horrifying. And you're just like a normal civilian, right? And you live in a residential area, and this bomb was extremely close. And would you say that's kind of typical in Kharkiv, like residential areas getting hit with major bombs pretty often?
Yes. For the first 2 or 3 days, it wasn't so typical, but still it was. So civilian objects, they were attacked from the very beginning. But on the third or fourth day, the day I left, because I saw the big explosion of the building on the main square in Kharkiv. This is government building. After this, we realized that it's dangerous to stay in Kharkiv. Since I left, I read news every day, every hour, and probably every minute. So I know what was happening and what is happening now. And I can say that the civilian objects are increasingly attacked by Russians. And just yesterday, the region on the, close to where the Russians stay, the region of the Kharkiv, like the northeastern part of the city,
the outskirts,
was attacked again and again. And I think there aren't any buildings left without any like damage.
Yeah, we call it it's being razed. And can I actually, I hate to interrupt you, but I just want to give some context to our listeners because I know what building you're talking about. So everybody's seen the video here in America of that government building being bombed. But let me just explain to the Americans who have never been to Kharkiv actually some additional importance. So we've actually went there together, right? That building is in front of a place called Freedom Square. And this is where you go with your friends in Kharkiv, right? So we went there for like a Christmas, New Year's celebration, and it's where people go to like meet. But here's the important thing: it used to be called Lenin Square, and it was changed to Freedom Square. And while that government building is there, I don't know if you remember this. You probably do. Across the street at the start of Freedom Square, there is like there's a bunch of signs and a bunch of things from the Donbass war talking about like what Putin is doing to Ukraine, right? So and it's supposed to show like tourists like a little bit about the Ukrainian perspective on this. This is 100%. It's not just a violent attack on a government building. This is 100% psychological warfare. Putin knows that stuff is there, right? And he knows that it used to be called Lenin Square. Kharkiv is 20 minutes from the Russian border. He bombed that to try and break the morale of the Kharkiv residents. It's a very important place for them that we go, that you guys go, that I go with you to celebrate things. Yeah. And there's also some things talking about, you know, why they don't want Putin involved in their politics, right? That's what Americans don't know about that place. And if you go on my Instagram, a few posts back, you can actually see a picture of the square before the bombing and after. Okay, please continue.
And you know what Ukrainians did after this explosion?
What?
They went to the square, to this damaged square, and they stayed in front of that building, and they were singing Ukrainian hymn.
That's amazing. I love you guys. You guys are the best. And also when Kharkiv is back to normal, there's also Shevchenko Park, which is awesome, and people should visit and spend money and, you know, buy some Ukrainian flags.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Okay.
So I should continue, and I wanted to say that they started to attack schools and kindergartens, and also the zoo had been attacked, and they showed some monkeys like chimpanzee and orangutan, and also deer. Probably I've read it today, like 9 deer has been killed because of this attack. And I saw also the post that the wolf came to people from the forest, I think. So like wild animals, they struggle, and I think they have no food and they're really scared.
And we should mention, and you're right, they are attacking zoos. They attacked the Kiev Zoo as well, which is like, why even do that? What's right next to that zoo? Like literally, like there's the zoo, and then right in front of it is the largest university in the region. So they are bombing like not just civilian infrastructure, but infrastructure that should never be bombed.
Yeah, education.
Any conflict. Yeah, like what's some like, you know, like medical or like social work student going to do to hurt Putin, right? It's just to break morale. It's just to terrify people. Anything else?
Yeah. I think, in my opinion, the reason they do this is that they can't confront our troops. So
yeah,
they can't fight. They lose, and they just attack civilians. I don't know if you know that more civilians have been killed than our like army.
I did hear that. Yeah, because
so is just
the Russian army is not a match. Not a match for the Ukrainian army. Is so much better trained and so much more motivated. So yeah, it's just like this is thug-like behavior, right? This is what criminals do. I'd like to, if I could I move on to the next question?
Yes, sure.
Okay, so this one might be a little bit tough, but you know, try to go back to the first days of war, right? February 24th. What were your emotions like? What did you and your neighbors kind of experience as this war started?
Something that I've never experienced before, and I think everybody felt the same. This like fear that you feel with your bones, and you feel like your life is over. We've never forget this date and this time, because of that fear. So in my story, I woke up at 5 o'clock, and I have some chats in Telegram where I see the news, and like 2 or 3 days before the war, it became like a bit escalated, and everybody felt nervous. And I remember I wrote my sister like, oh no, I like feel the war will start soon, would start soon. So I've read like the night between 20 sort of February and the night between.
Oh, the night of February 23rd.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So Putin was saying some things, and he finished with a phrase like, I decided to start this operation. And after I read this, I heard like massive explosion sounds. I can't explain. It was like far away, like a thunderstorm. And it was so scary. I just can't explain that feeling, but
Yeah, and let me
I
just.
felt really nervous, and I started to pack my things. And some people, they were prepared, and I saw from my window they go to their cars and start driving somewhere. But as you know, this explosion people heard on the whole territory of Ukraine. So we realized like there was nothing to go, and we didn't know what to expect. So I packed just a few things, and we moved to the place where we had like shelter.
Yeah, and just to add a little bit for people that this might be their first time, meeting you, hearing about you, and they're meeting you now as someone who's, fleeing war. But, I know you from before then. And on February 23rd, you were a cosmetologist. You had a medical degree. You were very hardworking. You were really busy. You're always exhausted when I talk to you because you had so much going on, right? Like you had like a lot of people in Kharkiv, which was like a very fast, like quickly developing city. People had like full, busy, productive lives, right? And then on February 24th, it was over, right? Because this one guy, this one idiot who didn't even plan it right, decided that, your goals, your freedom, your personal decisions in life didn't matter, right? And so they took that all away, right? So if this were a just world, people would be getting to know you for all the things that you do, right? But now we have to talk about this totally unnecessary, war that's just, it's ruining people's lives, right? Okay, thank you so much for keeping it together during this interview, Maria. You are a goddess. You are doing awesome. Next question.
Thank you.
By the way, your English is fine. Okay, so I kind of told you about you, but what is something that the world should know about the city of Kharkiv? In my opinion, it's a city on the make, and it has a great spirit, a great energy. I think people should visit once this is over. But what do you want people to know about your city, Kharkiv?
Kharkiv is a very big city with a lot of universities, a lot of cool places, parks, and it's a city of students, of yours. It's a city of life, and it was very beautiful. It has been repaired in many areas, and we had a lot of new buildings that are almost destroyed now. The city of growth and a lot of possibilities. I know people were investing a lot of, I am not talking about money, but a lot of energy and inspiration in their business because it was so successful, and they believed they did the right thing. So nobody was, what I wanted to say, nobody was prepared for what happened, and it was unexpected for everybody. In my clinic, cosmetology clinic, we just recently received a new treatment staff, and we had like education how to use it, and we're supposed to have more trainings. So yeah, and now we only can talk about like, what do you hear? Is it quiet now, or are you in the shelter? So yeah, life changed completely.
And it's now a hero city, right?
Yes.
Which it always was.
It will be.
Yeah.
It was and it will be.
So by the way, that's the second time that Kharkiv has been labeled a hero city. So if you want to meet some cool people, go to Kharkiv.
Yeah.
Not once, but twice.
Yeah. And people in Kharkiv, they mostly speak Russian, like maybe, I don't know, 90%. And there is no problem to speak Russian. So like Putin says Russian language is under attack of Nazis, so it's bullshit.
Total bullshit.
Because we can speak Russian and Ukrainian and whatever you want. Yes, some official documents and I don't know, TV shows and radio, it's in Ukrainian language, but I don't care. I like it, and so other people do.
Yeah, I remember I tried.
Yeah, so I mean, like, there is no problem that we speak Russian or Ukrainian. It wasn't a big deal to start this in that reason.
So to give you, I met a lawyer. So I was my Airbnb host was a lawyer in Kharkiv, and Russian is so accepted and not persecuted or oppressed there at all. The Russian language is so widely used in Kharkiv that she said, like, if she gets a letter or something from a potential client in Ukrainian, she won't read it, right? Like, she'll only take and that person, it's not like Putin went in and said, like, all right, you're Russia now, like you can fight for us. He just bombed that lady's house, right? Like, he doesn't care. He's totally full of shit, and he's totally out of his mind, right? I remember I tried to use Ukrainian in a couple shops, and they were like, oh, just speak Russian. Like, these are people who love Russia, and they love Ukraine and they love Russia, right? Ukraine and Russia have there's a lot of people who view them as like used to view them as brotherly nations, right? They have family in Russia. Putin didn't care about that. He bombed them. He bombed them more than he bombed non-Russian parts of Ukraine, right? So his total justification is all crap. This dude's just insane. Okay. And do you have any final messages for our American audience?
Yes, I would like to thank all Americans for your support. And I want to say that we will resist, and please don't forget about Ukraine, please, because it is not over, and I don't know how it will finish, but what I know is that Ukrainians will never accept Russian government or like Russian temper and their intentions, because we want to be in democracy. We want to have some kind of freedom, and we need your help still. So please don't stop, and thank you again.
No need to thank us, but yeah, I agree that we shouldn't stop, and we can't forget about this, right? I won't let people forget about this. Like, I was an activist in college. I'm totally fine with annoying people until they do the right thing, right? I don't care. Yeah. All right. So Maria, I think we could have this interview all day, right? There's so much stuff to discuss, but let's call it a day here. I think we covered some good things. I want to thank you again for joining me, and I want to encourage people to check out my website, navigators.org. You won't be supporting me in any way. I'm just connecting you to folks who are on the ground right now in Kharkiv, and also helping people who have fled and are trying to get their lives set up. One more tidbit: don't think that just because someone is, out of a war zone that they're okay. They don't have jobs, they need supplies, right? So everybody in Ukraine needs our help, and let's do all we can. Okay, Maria, bye-bye.
It was nice to see you.
Slava
Bye-bye.
Ukraine.
Героям слава.